Right now, I'm in my son's life. I've seen each one of my sons play. I take them to practice. I pick their friends up for practice.
What's the most special thing about him?
That he helps me with stuff. He loves me. He always be there when I need help.
Cause there's a lot of fictitious shit. Oh no, he knocked out 32 niggas. He got the knockout record in the penitentiary in California. And one instance, documented on camera, nigga, documented. He got to write up for every last one of them niggas. He knocked 32 niggas out. Okay. He did that. You know, dude like 5th degree martial arts and all that shit, but you gotta remember, you talking about Big U, 100 pounds light and all that kind of shit. Okay. You know what I mean? He was a different dude back then.
When some of the guys were speaking about it, we were just talking about the
oh no, he got a reputation for that. That ain't nothing new out here, bro. Like, you know, cause I ain't nigga. I ain't gonna take nothing from no nigga. That wasn't no new shit.
Okay. Cause we were talking about the shit yesterday, and niggas said he knocked out two
crazy shit. He knocked one of his own homeboys' eye out his whole face. Whole socket. Damn. Yeah, for riding with the essays against an A-Tray gangster. That's his enemy in the county jail.
Right. It's an Ice-T save from 60s. That's what Ice-T said. I know he went to Crenshaw. I know he used to be in the hood too, but you know, them older dudes, like 7, 8 years older than me, I think. How the fuck old is Ice-T? How old is Ice-T?
90 years older than me.
He 59? Damn, he 9 years older than me.
I think it's 100.
No, but let me tell you, I watched that little interview he did. The one thing he did tell the truth about, the nigga was getting that paper and they was hitting them licks. That's what the fuck I do know he was doing.
He did have bitches.
He did have bitches. Yes, sir-ree. You didn't lie about that.
Over there.
This nigga say, everybody keeps saying, Ice-T grew up in the, it's an Ice-T. Ice-T said on his thing, he was from 60s.
Before or after he started breakdancing?
Oh shit.
Damn.
Oh shit. That was Kid Mac, the historian, goddammit. Gun know shit about every fucking body. Like Cuz had a nigga on there. What that nigga from that hated where the dude that Jimmy Lavender? He's a hater.
Raymond Washington.
Oh, that dude was jealous of Raymond Washington all the way.
About Raymond Washington.
Yeah, man. This dude was hating on Raymond Washington so bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, this dude hating on Raymond Washington so bad.
Bruce be hating on Raymond Washington.
What's Bruce?
It's lost the part of Bruce.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's talking about he put Raymond Washington.
Oh, yeah. It's your old Bruce, yeah.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, I see he came on my shop. I gave him some money. He said, yeah, I'm up to 1 million, I'm up to 1 million. I went viral on Nipsey shit, and I went viral on somebody else. He said,
every day I catch him on Snapchat, he be like live on radio station 6-0. And he gonna bring the students come through, and he gonna be like, bitches, cause if they come through, banging the hood on the students or being about the business. That nigga said he's so Crips. Yeah. And I didn't see Cuz tell people that. I see Cuz with
Big Q-Bone.
He breaking on whatever. I see Cuz like.
You see Q-Bone. Hey, when we gonna get you on the thing, Q-Bone?
Flaked on me, cuz I never told you.
Q-Bone flaked.
Yeah, Q-Bone flaked, but it's all good.
It used to be 5 deuce whatever we do, 6 wherever we go. What? Q-Bone? My first time getting shot was in Q-Bone in 1981.
Yeah.
I got my first time ever get shot, 1981, in the shoulder. 81 or 82. I could be wrong. It was 81 or 82.
I just came to the one.
I didn't even go to the hospital either. I was too scared moms find out. I was more scared of moms. I was more scared of moms than I got shot than anybody. I ain't going to the hospital. He's like, take me to the homegirl house. She got her mama a nurse. I take that shot before I go to mom. I never went to the hospital. Took that shit like a champ. He said as soon as we get back to LA.
Like, 80s is extra dollars we trying to make.
The 80s was extra. You know what the 80s was? The 80s, no, yeah, exactly. Wasn't no cameras, and every time you seen a nigga that you didn't like, you had to flight out the car right there immediately. There wasn't no. Nah.
Damn, we can't kill nobody. We got to kill the cameras because we don't care. We can't do nothing.
Shit, I remember niggas was like, man, I ain't letting my mama ride with me. You had certain cars you couldn't ride your. Niggas wasn't riding their kids in their cars. If you was driving that car too much, you wouldn't ride nobody in that car because not nobody you love. Oh, these gonna be at your shit. It was dangerous.
My mama did it. We busted out every car she had.
I never shot at anybody.
For the record.
I did.
That's for the regular camera.
You know, I was the lawyer for the hood. I got all the homies off. I was the lawyer. That's how my name became famous because I would, help the homies,
Yo, we back. It's your boy Pop-A-Lot. Mob. We on our way to Los Angeles with it. Sunny California. Meet us in Crenshaw. Matter of fact, don't meet us unless you know somebody. And don't tell them you know me. A whole lot of neighborhood shit about to go on. So today we on one. We covering none other than the infamous Eugene Big U Hinckley. Now, we really couldn't run a channel or a series called Mob Ties without covering guys like Big U. And I'm going to do my best to try to break down his history and show why he's such an important person, not only in the city of Los Angeles and definitely in the Crenshaw area, but in the music business and worldwide. Though affiliation has been denied, Big U has been described by gang experts in California as a leader, if not the top man in the Rolling 60s, which they consider a heavily armed Crip gang based in South Central Los Angeles. Now, if we're talking about territory, they're going to say that the Rolling 60s stretches from Slauson Avenue to Florence Avenue, and that's going to be between Western Avenue and around Crenshaw Boulevard. Now, they're definitely going to be one of the more well-known and probably the most infamous, and some people would say they're the most feared black gang in the Hyde Park, Crenshaw region of Los Angeles. Now, the Rolling 60s have a really, really deep history, and they say they range from around 6,000 to 8,000 members in California. Now, they're going to have a long-standing beef with the H-Trade Gangster Crips, who they were close allies with at one time. Before reasons unknown, they began to go back and forth, and the rivalry between them two was actually responsible for being the first Crip-on-Crip rivalry in the history of Los Angeles, according to some media outlets. Now, some of the more notable members of the 60s is going to be, everybody knows Nipsey Hussle, going to be Little Fee, going to be CJ Mack, and also Corrupt. And in some interviews, Big U goes into detail about how he first met Corrupt back in 1990, and that was almost his introduction to the music business, even though he was entrenched in the streets at that time. He would talk about a story of how he was kicked out of L.A. in 1982 and he was forced to go live with his father in some kind of program that they had. And he would return back to L.A. in 1984. And he said crack was full on display at that time. He would come back and he would see a block of his homies. They would have foreign cars. Everybody had thousands. And he pretty much stated that he would get in how he fit in at that point. Now, prior to that, by all accounts, he had been making a name for himself on the streets. He was trained in martial arts, and he came from a large family, and he explained that that was one of the protocols with his family. And he would explain how martial arts would have a big impact on his life, citing things like discipline. And he said almost a lot of stuff that happened at the martial arts studio. So he was definitely a terror in the streets, and it's still folklore and stories about things that he did, people he knocked out. So he was definitely a hitter and a fighter for the 60s, because early on in the gang times, it in the 90s, I want to say it transitioned, definitely the 80s with the drugs, but early on in the gangs, you definitely had to be a fighter, and by all accounts, he was one of the top fighters in the city. Now, with the evolution of drugs and it funding the gang, because he would talk about how they went from pistols to automatic weapons. Now, during the course of this arms race, Big U would find himself in a situation where he would be facing the longest time of his life behind bars in 1991, when him and a friend, a guy by the name of Eddie Wagner, attempted to rob an undercover police officer, allegedly. And they gonna say that he was trying to relieve the officer of 33 pounds of cocaine. Big U would go on to explain that what they would do was they would target and set up these deals, and when the suspected drug dealers would pull up, they would pretty much just take the stash from the drug dealer. And in the course of this, he would end up being sentenced to 23 years. He would end up doing 14 years, so he would be released in 2004. And after his release, if you didn't know who he was, or if you was not familiar with him, you would become very, very familiar with him, because he would make statements like, if he was not home,